I'm feeling that beat tonight, brother. Just good vibes. Wish. Welcome into another episode of the Barking Brown Show. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. I'm sorry that the weekend's almost over and that you're about to go back to work. So I apologize for that. I'm Jacob. That's Casey. Nick is out on assignment. There's a secret flavor of Ghost Energy drink, and I sent him to find it. I don't know if he'll be able to do it, but that's what I sent him to do, and I have figured. We're presented as always by our friends over at SeatGeek, so make sure you use our promo code Barking Browns, all one word, and get $20 off your first purchase. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, all that bullshit. Casey, how you doing?
Doing good, man. I had a great weekend. I was able to sneak. My youngest one saw Superman today, and I know you got it in yesterday. And mum's the word. I'm not the type of guy to give spoilers or anything.
Nope.
We enjoyed our time at the theater. The theater's so damn expensive, though, man. It's brutal.
Can I tell you what it costs to go to the movies at Movies 10 here in town? Fun Barn.
I saw The Matrix there and Star Wars Phantom Menace at that location.
So, prices have been recently. They were super apologetic because they had to raise their prices on everything. Just by a little, for the first time in 2 decades or something stupid. They're like, we're sorry, just with the cost of everything, we just can't keep everything, and they were so apologetic about it. So I got 2 tickets. So 2 tickets, me and my wife went to watch it, a small popcorn, a bottle of water, a large popcorn, and a large diet soda. For $19.
All right.
I didn't even spend a full 20 spot, bro. That place is awesome, man. And
Yeah.
They have a full-blown arcade that has a restaurant that makes pizzas that you can take in.
Okay, here we go. So it was me and my daughter. She's 9, so it's a child's ticket. It's a matinee.
Yes.
The movie tickets were $28 and change, just the movie tickets.
Yeah.
We got 1 large popcorn, which I did not eat at all, and a large water, a life water, and a small life water. 54 and change, brother. Just for us two.
The Movies 10, they used to be even cheaper because tickets are $5 now. They used to be $4, so they raised it by $1. And they were so torn up that they had to do that because they were one of those brands that just wanted to keep it where it was. And Movies 10 in Athens, a full blown Fun Barn now there, the full blown arcade that's attached to it as well. And their pizzas are $6 for a large, and they're pretty badass.
Like I said, I lived in Nelsonville at the turn of the century. And I saw many movies there, most notably The Matrix the night that it opened, and Phantom Menace, and 8mm. I probably saw more than that. But I was always under multiple influences, so I could not tell you how much it cost me back then.
It was $4 forever. It was $4 for forever, until they raised it to $5.
Yeah.
And I think ours was a matinee too, so I think it might be $6 if you, because we went.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, no, that's still not bad at all.
We saw this at an IMAX. Granted, we didn't see it in IMAX. We saw it in their regular digital showing. No special, no frills, no Dolby Surround. They have all kinds of different theaters you could do, but we did the straight OG, and it was still $28 just for 2 tickets.
So we're looking when we're up at training camp, me and Nick and Andy Manchin and our good friend Mr. Brad Ward, who will be going with us to training camp from the OBR. We're going to go to training camp on the 26th, but Nick and Andy and I also have plans to go to training camp at 9:30 in the morning and then go to the IMAX theater to watch the Fantastic Four after that. So those are our July 26th plans. But here's what I'll say about Superman, because I do think I want to put this out there. It was a different type of Superman than Henry Cavill. I just feel like I think everybody kind of knows that, but I just wanted to put that out there. But what I really wanted to say is that Casey, and I won't give away literally anything, but Casey summed it up the best. He was like, that was a really fun movie to watch. And that's perfect. I gave it a 9.5. I flirted with a 10. I flirted with a 9. But I ended up on a 9.5 because I just had a damn good time watching the movie. There's plot holes. There are in every. It's a movie. Yeah. Shut up. Just shut up and watch the movie.
I got bullied by my 9-year-old daughter to give it a 10.
Okay.
She asked me what I gave it, and then before I could give my score, she gave her score.
Of course.
And I was going to be around a 9, but I wasn't. Yeah. I can't dampen her fun. She loved it. She was electric on the way out. She actually absolutely loved it. And Crypto was her favorite part of the movie.
Do you know we're 7 minutes deep? Do you know my favorite part of the movie? No, never mind. I'll tell you.
We can't spoil for people.
Off air. It wasn't going to be
a big to talk about. We didn't get to dig in before, but I'm sure
it wasn't going to be a big one. It's a really subtle, stupid moment at the end that I love. It was my favorite part, but and I think everybody who has seen the movie and has been watching this podcast will know exactly what we're talking about. All right, if somebody wants to put in the comments, pod starts at 7:45, you can do that because that's about where this pod's going to start. So we're going to start talking about Quinshon Judkins, right?
Mm-hmm.
As of this live stream, as of this recording, it's 8:11 p.m. on Sunday night. I did a podcast that comes out at 7 p.m. tomorrow that I recorded this morning, and I was like, I don't know anything. And listen, we're not going to comment on anything because you probably know more than us because this is a pre-recorded thing, So he was arrested yesterday at 9 o'clock in the morning for the exact description, because I had pulled everything up, it's a very vague
it seems like charge. You can do a lot of things in the state of Florida and they bucket it under one thing.
Yeah, so I was like, this whole time, I'm like, I couldn't figure out the severity of it, because it literally says touching touch or striking / battery / domestic violence.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is that's something that's as small as you, like somebody gets up close to you and you just kind of shove them out of the way, all the way to a full on domestic violence situation where people get really hurt. Like it's somewhere in that range. And I was like, that was the craziest part for me, is because I didn't know how pissed off I am. Like, I'm like, what is this? Like what happened, And as of right now,
when those things come out, you at least have a lane that things can go in. This is such a broad spectrum. Like
Mike Hall last year, we knew pretty early with Mike Hall that there was a gun involved. Mm-hmm. Like we knew, like, hey, there was something that involved an altercation with him and who the other person was, and there was a gun involved. Like we knew that pretty early.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was what the charge read. And then the bond was set at $2,500. As of I read 3 or 4 p.m. today, he bonded out.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that much. And the last piece of news that we just learned was that the incident happened on July 7th. And then reportedly the victim and Quinshon spent 5 more days together. They were celebrating her birthday or something of that, is what I read, in Florida. They had gone down there as friends to celebrate her birthday or something along those nature. That's what I read in one of the reports. And then she reported it on Saturday. So those are the facts as we have them right now. I just wanted to start it off just like being like, it's always something, and it just, wherever it ends up being, it's just frustrating that we have to have these conversations as often as we do.
A tradition like no other.
Yeah.
And again, this is a kid that didn't have the red flags. Anyone you talk to about him, a high character kid, but situations happen. It's just so muddy too. And when you add in the fact he hasn't even signed his contract yet. Like, I don't know what this means with the NFLPA. Like, there's a lot of things that are going to unfold in the next couple of days. We'll know more. I'm sure
Rookies report.
Did rookies report on Friday? I'm
Yeah.
sure it'll be sorted out in much greater detail, and we'll know, how mad we should be at the situation, or if it's not even really a situation. It could fall in so many different buckets between now and Friday that it's almost like we can't. There's nothing definitive we can say right now.
No, because we don't even know what he allegedly did. Mm-hmm. Like, did he push her? Did he punch her? Did he, like, we don't know in what way it was battery or / violence. We don't know what the act was.
Did he touch her? Did he strike her? There's so many things that could have. Also, Florida, get your shit straight. Like, how is this 4 different subheadings?
I read, Christy Akati, I believe
Acuna,
she runs Browns Fans Only, BFO on Facebook.
I've seen the name, yeah.
Yeah. She, really, really sweet lady. She's down there in Florida, and she was talking about that particular charge could stem all the way from literally any form of unwanted touch. So in any way, shape, or form, any kind of like unwanted touch, they can potentially. But one thing that is important to note is that it is listed as a misdemeanor still.
Yeah.
And one thing I did read is when they came on this 12th, and this kind of confuses me more than it does helps me. Yeah, that's my surge. Yeah, even with all of it unknown, why are we dealing with it? Absolute. That was my problem all night last night. And I was even telling people were like wanted to be mad at Andrew Berry about this, but I'm like, he didn't have these concerns. He checked out. Like, Andrew Berry's made a lot of mistakes with character issue guys. He's made a lot of them. I just don't think this one is one of them, for the simple fact of this one does just feel like we got unlucky, because it wasn't like, hey, there's these red flags over here, and you just said no, they weren't there. But anyway, when they came on Saturday after the complaint, they said there's something in the language that said we came to the conclusion that a battery had happened. Now, they didn't say anything about evidence or how they got to that conclusion, but they did get to that conclusion. And I wonder, does that mean there is some kind of evidence that it was something that they could still see? Like is there a bruise 5 days later?
If it's 5 days later,
that's my point. And I'm not saying that's what it said, but that's where my mind went to. And then that's kind of where I was like, oh, maybe this is a bigger deal. If he did any kind of battery to this girl, like, unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable. And I said what I said about Shadur Sanders about having a problem. This is a much bigger problem than those speeding tickets. If this happens.
Oh, yeah, no, violence on women.
No, it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Absolutely unacceptable. And I'm so sick and tired of having to talk about it. So I hope that this isn't a situation. I hope everybody in this situation is okay, and that, it's not one of those situations. But it's exhausting, brother.
Yeah, I wish there would be like a fly on the wall that we could have observed Andrew Berry's raw reaction behind the scenes when he got this news.
Yeah, because he doesn't have that many more facts than we do. Maybe a little bit.
He probably a little more now, but not at the moment that it gets reported.
Because if it's me, I wrote an article this week, brother, talking about how I believe Andrew Berry's improved as a drafter. And one thing that I noted was he was shifting away from low character risks, and that everybody in this draft class was of high character. I wrote that 4 days ago, and then this happens. So if I'm Andrew Berry, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah. What I do, man?
Somebody's like, what is this background check process? Because we don't think it's very good. And I'm like, he probably doesn't think it's very good right now either. Because he didn't see this one.
That's something to think about, because I didn't hear anything about it, but I also don't have private investigators.
Sure.
I didn't hear anything about Mike Hall before the event last year either. That doesn't mean there wasn't things. I didn't hear it. But if you're investing second round picks, if you're investing anything in these guys' future, do you remember Lonnie Phelps?
Yeah.
UDFA. And this is also B, who can afford to be. That kid messed up. They cut him too sweet right away. You know, if this is a really bad situation, obviously I don't think it'd be a misdemeanor if it was.
Right.
But if it shakes out and this kid ain't even under contract, technically. This is you're in a weird position right now.
And in the whole, like, she stayed with him for 5 days, like, I'm never going to be a victim blamer. I'm not going to say that just because she stayed with him, that means nothing happened, but it's odd. Sure.
Yeah.
It's odd.
It feels like if he has a good lawyer, and I actually heard this yesterday, I did zero fact checking. Is his mom a lawyer? Because I did hear this.
Let me look it up.
Quinshon Judkins' mom's a lawyer. Whatever. Get a good lawyer, but violence on women is unacceptable.
Absolutely. Yes, his mother is a lawyer, according to the Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, I did hear that. I didn't fact check it.
And his father owns multiple businesses. I don't know why AI needed to throw that part in there. All I said was
AI is still tripping, man.
When you go into
you could look up something from AI, and it could pull things from 2 separate articles that are 20 years apart.
Dude, so
put them together.
I like the AI overview in Google just because it answers things pretty well. But I was right. Yes. I'm with you. I'm not gonna victim blame her, and I'm also not gonna automatically take her word either. Yeah, absolutely. Let the truth come out. Yes, 100%. So I used the AI. I was telling Sam Penix this. We were recording an episode for the OBR. If you want to check that out, our game tape on Malik Collins, the pass rusher, comes out tomorrow at 7 p.m. on the OBR streaming network. So you might want to check that out. Even though he's the only one that got to show you film this week, because somehow mine got corrupted this morning. I was not in a very good mood because I got up super early for it. Super early for me because I stay up late because I work second shift. And I got up super early, worked on it. It shit the bed. I was pissed. But I told him, I said, one thing that I love to do when I am, especially free agents, because I hear so much about player profiles and strengths in the draft, not as much about free agents. I love to go read what other teams, other writers and content creators, like when Malik Collins signed with the 49ers last year, I read some articles about what they said about the signing at that time. You know, I like to look that stuff up. So I'll type into Google so that it'll pull these things for me. I'll be like, Malik Collins player profile and just see what people list as strengths and weaknesses and things like that. I'm like, okay. Then I go watch the film and I'm like, oh, I see this and I see that. And I do a lot of that with my draft stuff too. And it was talking about how he's a very powerful, because he does have a really nasty bull rush when he wants it. He gets under the pads. He's a little lighter in the ass, but he's pretty strong. And it was like, his power and aggressive style show up as a pass rusher. Also make him really good in the run game. No, he's not. That is not accurate at all. He is not a very good run defender. I'm like, you got most of this right. So that's when you got to start fact checking the fact checkers, because you're like, I watched your game and like, are there not any good deep run defense reps? No, yeah, some, but that's not.
But all it took was one person saying it, and that article did well, so it ranked high in the AI's consensus to pull info from.
Yeah, and you end up with a.
But I think this is an interesting point you just brought up, and I think everyone else could learn from this. In the draft or whatever else, man, have voices that you trust that can bring you the names, but always do the work for you. Don't take anything anyone says as gospel. Look into it. And you can use that information they said to give you cues and keys, which are stuff you're looking for. But like at the end of the day, you see what you see. And Jacob did not see a plus run defender in Malik Collins.
His run grade, and I know PFF isn't the do-all, be-all or anything, but his run defense grade last year was a 45. So I think that might be a little harsh. I think he's better than that. But am I giving him like a 70? No, I'm not. I'm probably like a 58. 55.
Better than Quentin Jefferson, right?
I don't know. It's pretty close.
Is at that level? Oh my God.
It's pretty close. It's not. It's just he.
Play Mason Graham on the early downs.
Yeah. The thing is, he's got such a deep bat. I think he wins as a pass rusher because he's so smart and he has such a deep bag of moves,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't have that to get a stack and shed. Like, he will stack and shed and do some run defense things, but a lot of times it's his counter. Like, he'll do a ghost move to the left and he'll spin. I watched him spin, and in one spin, he was like 5 feet away, 6 feet away from where he started, and then got, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just don't think he has the time as a run defender to be able to deploy some of those counters and other things.
You do that, you're way out of your run lane, and
it just doesn't work. But it works perfectly in this scheme because he's just a great. He's not a super twitchy athlete, I think, is the biggest problem. So he just doesn't do well as a run blocker or a run defender. But he's
as a rotational pass rush guy.
He's got 90 pressures in 2 years. 45 and 45 in the last 2 years.
I would take that.
Do you know who was number 2 on the Browns last year and what that number was?
McGuire?
No.
Number 2 on the Browns last year?
Well, it would have been Malik Collins.
Who was it?
It was Dalvin Tomlinson with 36.
Yeah, people. Here's the thing, man. People and I think it's a natural fan reaction that when your team moves on from a guy to automatically to start trashing the guy. Dalvin was a fine player, man. He was one of the rare free agent signings that AB's had that's worked out. Like, he performed to that level. He wasn't plus and beyond, but Dalvin Thompson was more than an adequate defensive tackle.
When he got paid, what he got paid for the 49ers shows what but they've got a chance to get cheaper, get better at pass rush, and then later they knew in the draft, they didn't know it was going to be Mason Graham, but they knew that it was a very deep defensive tackle class, and they're like, well, we'll get the run defender there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you because when they got rid of Dalvin from Malik Collins, you were like, and because you didn't see the whole vision, then it all came together, and you're like,
And it's also a reflection of what they think of the 2 rookies last year between Hall and Briggs.
Yeah.
You got to free up some snaps for these guys.
If these guys take steps, this defensive line could be top 5. It could be in the 20s as well. I could see it be that wide of a variance, 5 to 20, because if maybe these guys don't take steps, but there's lots of guys with lots of flashes and upside to be very, very good. I mean, you talked about Mike Hall. If Mike Hall can give us what we thought we saw at the end of the year, there was some juice. And you put that with Malik Collins, Isaiah McGuire, and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, and these pass rush athletes that they have. And then you throw in Mason Graham and Shelby Harris, who are just tanks against the run, and then you just let Carson Schwessinger have free reign back there. Dude, if it comes together, it's there, but it's a big if. And that's why, to me, I keep doing this exercise. I know we're just all over the place tonight, but this is how we feel right now, right? So if you want to rein us in the comments, feel free. But if you
good luck. Good luck. I know the guy who's running the comments tonight.
He just won't put you up there.
He'll be asleep at the wheel, bro.
Suck it. Shit. Where was I?
Let me go real quick.
Go ahead.
So where it's so important for me is Hall, because he wins and he wins quick. And when you have quick winning pressure from inside, when you combine with what Miles does on the outside, it's a perfect recipe. Now you can have guys that win on the interior, that's great. But when it's quick pressure and it flashes in front of your face, quarterback has no chance. You cannot establish your rhythm. You're off your spot. Your footwork's jumpy, and you already know you got Miles. So there's that clock that's going to be on the left side of their head the whole time. But when you start getting pressure in your face and it's immediate, your timing's all the way off. So it's about him getting healthy and being able to put consistent reps on the field. But what we saw when he was on the field was someone who can win and win quick. That's what we've needed for years, And they just the talent is there now. They're young, like you said. There needs to be steps taken.
Yep.
And there is a variance because if they don't take that step, you're middle of the pack. But if they take those steps, and I know the only name that people know, Mason adds a little bit different variation because of his profile, but like it's Myles Garrett and the gang.
Mm-hmm.
No other name people are focusing on, so they're not putting the Browns up in that tier right now. But that changes come September if these boys can all get pressure.
I said this morning, and I think I want to kind of amend what I said. No, not really. I see Malik Collins in a maybe or Mike Hall being like a 7 or 8 sack guy, where 2 or 3 of them are just from people having to step up to get away from Myles, and them being there because of their ability to push the pocket vertically, which we have not seen consistently. Like, seriously, if you want to see that's the film that Sam provided with the spin moves and just the way he can win. There's this rep. I'm going to act it out. I'm sorry, but there's this.
There we go.
There's this rep where he does this wild. He looks like a wild man back there. If you guys haven't seen Malik Collins, but there's this rep where he fires up and he goes like this and like throws his arms, like stretches them all the way out to one side and the other side, and then spins on them. What are you doing?
That's crazy dexterity, man.
Like, how do you do this? It's like, that's what I said to Sam. I'm like, if I'm an offensive lineman, I see a guy coming at me all like, he looks like arm flailing inflatable tube man, at the used car dealership. And as a lineman, I'm like, where are you going, brother? And if that guy, and that's Malik Collins, if that, and we know that Malik Collins is not on the same level of athleticism that Mike Hall is. And if those guys are just hanging out there in the middle.
How old is Malik?
30. I thought he was older. He's been in the league 9 years. I think he'll be 31.
When we played Houston 2 years ago, he was a problem.
I think he's 31. No, he's already. Yeah, his birthday was in April, so he's 30. He'll be 30 all year, all season. I know how birthdays work.
Once a year, usually the same date.
Is it the same date?
They're tricky like that.
I saw somebody post that for the first time in 666 years, Halloween's on Friday the 13th this year.
Don't fact check that, anyone. Just take that as gospel. That's happening.
Saw too many people believe that.
I once had someone argue with me that Cinco de Mayo wasn't on May 5th.
But it's 5 of May.
I know.
That's what it means. 5 of May. Cinco de Mayo. 5 of May.
And they also didn't believe me that you can milk a goat.
Yeah, goats milk.
Same person.
Same person.
No. And they own goats. That's where it came out of. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. So, in conclusion, we are frustrated that it's always something with the Browns. Quinshon Judkins, if he actually, any kind of assault on a woman is unacceptable. We're going to let this thing play out, but I'm not super happy that they were in this situation.
No, we have to talk about it, dude. It's,
I just want to talk about football,
Yes.
It's just.
Well, let's do that. Let's just transition straight to that. The rookies report on Friday. We're here. We're at the doorsteps of the vortex. It's just right on the other side of 5 days. Rookies report. There's plenty of stuff to be excited about with the rookies. Everyone's going to focus on the quarterbacks, and I can't stop you from doing that. Have at it. But there's a lot, and there's UDFAs. This is going to be an exciting crop, and they get a little bit of a head start on the veterans who report Tuesday, a week from this coming Tuesday. So what rookies outside of the quarterbacks are you most excited to see right away?
Well, one of them, I don't know when we're going to see him because that really, honest to God, I'm an Ohio State guy through and through. So one of them was Quinshon Judkins. But a draft crush of mine, was Dylan Gabriel, I know, so we're not going to talk about that. But, dude, I love Harold Fannin, man. I love Harold Fannin's game. We've heard countless people talk about it. We've said this too. Him being a kind of a big slot, power slot kind of guy. I was thinking about this the other day. Was it you and Brad last week talking about who's going to play fullback? Was that you guys on all that?
I asked him, which offensive lineman do you think gets kicked back?
Yeah. Harold Fannin, man. Harold Fannin's going to play some H-back.
Like, I don't know if he'll block, though. I think he'll be lined up in the backfield. I would line him up in the backfield, even in shotgun scenarios, just next to the quarterback.
Run a screen out of that. Run him out of that. Put him on the hip and run a screen out of that. I can see it.
Bowling Green did enough creative stuff with him that for me, if you can't see it, I can't help you.
It's the funniest thing in the world because I still don't understand it. I said this when we did, because me and Sam did film breakdowns of all 7 draft picks, and on OBR game tape. And I said, it's weird because I have written down that he's smooth when he moves, but then a couple notes later, I note how he runs all robotic and it looks weird as hell. And I'm like, and I remember writing that note and going, wait, I just called him a smooth mover. How does that make sense? It doesn't. But this dude, he looks weird. It's not the Isaiah Pacheco kind of weird, but it's in the same family. Like, it's in the same family. It's like its cousin, right? Because, like, he's like,
there's a lack of fluidity in the hips.
Yeah.
But damn it if it's not effective.
Exactly.
Who cares if it's effective, Like, as an outsider, we're like, Pacheco runs weird. If you're a Chiefs fan, you're probably cool with it.
I would be, yeah.
Right? Like, and obviously the Chiefs themselves are cool with it because they haven't replaced the kid. He's been there. This will be his, 4th year now? Third or fourth?
Yeah. Third or fourth.
They're not trying to replace him. Like, they're obviously cool with it. But yeah, Fannin's, it's an awkward thing, but his complete skill set. Now we're 6'3", 238 or whatever it is. Like, he's not, not a giant at the position, but like just so versatile. And his hands, man, like, and this is what's going to piss some people off. There is an Njoku feel to it, so he'll drop an easy one every now and again.
Yeah.
But if you throw the ball to that young man in traffic, every time he comes down with it, dude, like every time. It could be absurd traffic. Ball gets squeezed in there, he's coming down with it. But I think they're well equipped. I think you're going to see a ton of 12 and 21 personnel this year.
You know what I call that? The guy that makes all the crazy catches and just will have a few lazy ones. I call that the Jarvis Landry. Because every once in a while, Jarvis would just have one where he was looking to run before he secured the catch and he would drop it.
Yeah,
Amari Cooper did that too. Amari Cooper was way worse at it because Amari Cooper would have like 7 drops where like a year where 5 of them you were like, dude, I just watched you make a catch that was 100 times harder than that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's kind of what the Fannin effect is, but it's like he had 1,500 yards and he was the only one that really scared you on that Bowling Green offense. Trust me, I tried to play as that offense in NCAA in college football 25, and I think I actually gave Harold Fannin like 2,200 yards. I think he might have won the Heisman.
Checks out.
It was X.
To do it.
On PlayStation it's X, right? Like that's it's almost always your tight end 1 is your X. So you just X. I'm just hitting the
Just feed him, force feed him.
Hey, it's 2,200 yards.
And like, I don't have like crazy expectations. He's a rookie. It's the tight end position and stuff. But because you already have David, and as long as David can stay healthy, which I got to admit, that's an if. We're getting up there in years, and it could be a high ankle, could be a groin, whatever. He's a really physical player. But if David's healthy and you can use him as your supplemental tight end, I just see so many mismatches you can create, so many things that you can do with him out of your offense to extend your running game in the screen game, as that power slot. And I wouldn't even hesitate to give him a little end around every now and again on a quick motion.
They ran Wildcat with him at Bowling Green.
His rookie year, he scored 4 rushing touchdowns his freshman year.
Sounds right.
And they were all out of Wildcat.
Yeah.
But he was drafted as an athlete. He wasn't drafted as a tight end. played wide receiver in high school.
It's fascinating. Well, he can, and he's got the frame to get bigger too. If he gets bigger and adds more power to his game, especially as a blocker, like, oh my God, like, get out of here, like, it'd be insane.
He was so advanced as a receiver at Bowling Green that you can see why they didn't try to do that to take away from his game. It's like, no, he literally set records for tight ends. You know what I mean? Like, set records.
Just so casually. Nobody talked about it either. He just casually did it.
Everybody's so quick to write it off because it's a MAC school. It's like, okay, well, he did that against A&M and Penn State.
He put over 100 yards on both of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's
those were legit defenses. Penn State and Texas A&M, those were legit defenses.
Oh, I could name 6 kids right now that were drafted from those teams, from those defenses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they put copious amount of people in the league.
So, one other one that I'm really interested in, since I'm not going to talk about the running backs, because, dude, I was in the middle, and I don't know what to do. I was in the middle of writing an article for the OBR predicting stat lines for all the rookies. I was doing all this research about, like, I went back to usage, like, in 2020, how many carries did Nick Chubb get? How many carries did Kareem Hunt get? And Kareem Hunt actually had more carries, but if you remember, Nick Chubb missed 4 games that year with that knee injury. But I think it was a knee injury. But so I'm like, okay, so we could probably ballpark Judkins this, Ford this, and I'm doing all these, and then and this happens, and you're like, yeah, that's the most Browns thing ever. But a guy that I'm really interested in is Carson Schwarzenegger. And I'm really excited about all these rookies, to be completely honest with you, because I see so much. We will talk about Tillman in a second, MC. I see your comments about it. I do want to talk about Tillman. I do want to talk about Tillman because I do have high hopes for Tillman. But with Carson Schwarzenegger, one thing that when I was calculating it, is he's a smart player. UCLA, you don't walk on and go to UCLA if you're not, you don't have some brains in your head. You got a lot more brains in your head than me. I'm very interested to see how quickly he picks up this defense and how quickly he kind of takes control. I think Jordan Hicks is your Mike as long as he's healthy. But I think you'll see a lot of Carson Schwarzenegger, and it's how much Carson Schwarzenegger versus, I don't know what's going on with Devin Bush, but Diabate, Jerome Baker, these other guys that are on the roster.
Diabate, man, I'm telling you, that's the X factor of that group right now.
And so it's like, where does when I was trying to calculate Schwarzenegger's stats, I'm looking at like past top tacklers in the last 2 years from Jim Schwartz's scheme, because I view him as as whenever he's starting, he will lead the team in tackles. But will that be week 5? Like week 5-1, I don't think he'll be the leader, but then that means for the first 4 weeks, maybe he only gets half the tackles, So I'm like trying to do this math. And so that's one thing that I'm going to be watching very closely at the beginning of camp, is seeing kind of like, is it him and Hicks? Or does it start with it being Hicks and Baker or Diabate? Or where is he in the rotation early on, and how many looks is he getting early on, percentage-wise and things like that? Because I'm just curious how big the workload's going to be on him.
Well, we are entering a weird phase in the NFL where there is an emphasis to running the football.
We're talking about this. Thank you for remembering.
There's an emphasis to run the football, and I know you did some deep diving with some offensive statistics over the last several years. I can see a world where they play more base than they have. I still think that they'll want to play more safeties, but it just depends on, you're playing there's some physical teams, man, that really get after it in the run game, that you may see more 3 linebacker sets, which should lead to Schwarzenegger getting on the field earlier. Right. And he's phenomenal. If you just look at the way they want to have their linebackers play, everything's passed and you fix mistakes on your way to it as a linebacker.
Yep.
Schwarzenegger is elite at that. He is elite at diagnosing, flipping hips. And that's the other thing that gets kind of like not discussed, because he was a walk-on at a college. So when you hear that and you find out it took him all 4 years before he really got to be on the field, and you're like, okay, he's a tryhard. He's a cerebral player. Mm-hmm. That part's true. He also has the elite athletic characteristics. He is an elite athlete with those processing skills, diagnosing. He's not a guy who's going to take on blocks head on. He's not a deconstructor. He's an evader, similar to JOK, but he's got size. Especially just a bigger player. I'm excited, and I think he will. I'll say I think he leads this team in tackles.
Oh, sorry. Someone was just texting me about one of their favorite parts of the Superman movie, so I was responding to that text. Sorry. Our friend Andy Manchin just saw it.
Nice.
He very much enjoyed his time as well watching that. Yeah, man. Like so the Mina Kimes podcast this week or last, she had an episode with Dan Orlovsky, and they were talking about some offensive trends in the NFL. And I'm going to butcher the exact specifics of these offenses, I know. But she talked about, like, who do you think are the top 4 offenses they were last week or last year? Who are the top offenses? You're like, Baltimore, probably Buffalo, Kansas City, things like that. And she said all the way back in 2020, the top when you talked about the top 5 offenses, the highest any of them ranked in terms of rushing that year was like 14th in rushing. The top offenses in football in 2024 were also the top rushing offenses, the top 4 rushing offenses in 2024. And that shows you, they talked about like different personnel, more under center, more, and things like that, where you're seeing that changes, but you're seeing where the defenses started to evolve, and these linebackers started getting lighter and lighter to be able to keep up with more wide receivers and slot guys and tight ends. And the drawback to these linebackers getting smaller is, well, they're not as good at defending the run and taking on linemen. And so now all of a sudden you want to play cover 2, 2 high safety, we're going to run it down your throat. And the biggest reason I wanted to bring that up is if the Browns are going to be successful in 2025, that's how they're going to be successful, is running it down your throat and play action off of that and play great defense. And, you're seeing those trends change. And if they can play that great brand of defense they did in 2023 and they can run football, they can. I keep doing this thing in my head. Like, if you ask me right now, predict how many wins they would have, I would probably say 7, but some days I say 9, and then some days I say 6. But I'm somewhere in that 6 to 9 range, and maybe they get a little frisky after that. But yeah, man, I just thought that thing from the Mina Kimes podcast. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to that, but I thought that was really good.
I mean, but it's the ebbs and flow. This is a reaction game, dude. Like, the innovations don't even trickle in from this level. It actually comes up from the high school and college level, and these little wrinkles come into the game. And if I just trace this all back, like, I blame all this on Mahomes. Mahomes came in this league and did something that scared every defensive coordinator.
Everyone.
We're putting a lid on this thing. That's what we're going to do. We're putting a lid. You're not doing that. So it forced everybody to play horizontally and space it out horizontally to get people open in space, because they couldn't get the deep shots like the way they used to be able to. And now that's transitioned in, so you're spreading it out, and your linebackers had to get light to cover horizontally.
Yep.
Now we're going to ram. Now we're going down the middle with this. You know what I mean? Like, and it's music to my ears, because I know some people will hear, okay, we want to play fundamentally sound football. We want to run the rock, play action, and play great defense. And that sounds boring to some people, because we just mentioned that, like, in effect, we're just talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers' whole philosophy for the last 20 years. It's exactly what they did. So it's out, but like, that's how you're going to win games. And there's going to be plenty of games where you maybe score 18 to 22 points, but you can win those games. It won't be a lot of high scoring, a lot of like fireworks, high flying offense, dynamic plays. You got to hit your shot plays when they're there, but you just got to play fundamentally sound. And this team is constructed in a way to handle that. If the offense can just give the defense enough rest. I I don't need 15 play drives, 7, 8 play drives, flip the field. Borkas, we because last season was so shitty, it was easy to ignore the fact that Corey Borkas is a fucking weapon. He's someone who can flip the field, and if you can just play complementary football in that way, you're going to win some games and still not be like a high-flying offense. But I'm prepared for that. That's where my mentality is right now as we sit, waiting on September 7th.
Yeah, I just saw a bit of news, and I was trying to see. I thought I had found some more information on the Judkins situation, so I was trying to read through that real quick, but it doesn't seem to be more information. Just seems to be somebody updating what we already knew. So I was just curious about that. Yeah, man.
It's trickling over the next few days.
Yeah. It'd be really interesting because he's in a really weird. He's not the next one to sign because there's one more pick in front of him, 35. That's left unsigned. Do you know who that was? Who was the 35th pick?
Not off top.
I'm gonna be mad, aren't I?
It wasn't Shuck, was it?
No, it was Minwari. It was in Minwari.
Ooh, what a stud.
Yeah, I know. I told you I was going to get pissed off. But this is an interesting thing. You officially have a holdout. Trey Harris is unsigned, the second-round pick for the Chargers. He's a holdout. They've already reported for camp because they got the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, they got the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, so he's actually officially a holdout. We have one of the second-round picks already now a holdout, which is interesting. From there, is there anybody that's flying under the radar that you're excited to see? I think we'll kind of I got a fun question for after this, so if you want to answer this, and I could probably answer this question too, and then we'll do that fun conversation and probably wrap up the show around there.
I mean, he's under the radar, but he's a UDFA, Aiden Huntington. I think that he has a lot to gain. The coaching staff's been very impressed with him so far, but it's important to build on that. And you had your training, your mini camp. Now you're getting to the real deal, the main course. So him hitting the ground running, to give himself even an opportunity, to be realistic, could he make the 53? It's possible. More than likely, you're looking at someone who's a practice squad candidate, which isn't a bad spot to be on this.
First time called up.
You know what I mean? So but I want to see him really continue to build on what he was able to do in minicamp, keep building his profile, and because when we know what's going to happen when preseason gets here, these kids are going to get a ton of run. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see if he can do something with his opportunity.
I think Camp McDonald.
Camper of the day.
I'm not even going to explain the joke. Everybody in the comments are going to be mad at me for not explaining the joke. I will go under the radar, though, and I'll go Zach Zenner. I'm really interested to see what Zach Zenner looks like if that second year from now actually a year plus, because he wasn't a year removed for that injury till towards the end of the season, because he broke his leg in November. And then, so it wasn't until November before that injury. And I'm going to say, I'm very interested to see the way he moves. And there's been some conversations about using him as the extra offensive lineman to block, and some conversations about him playing some center, hanging out there as the right tackle / tight end when they, not just in also the fullback, things of that nature. So I'm interested to see how he looks in his moving, and if that power. And I just think he's such a great, talented run blocker from his time at Michigan, and he just didn't get to see it last year. And so he's one that I'm really, really interested to see if we're just going to go for an under the radar guy. But I'm also very, very interested to see what happens at left tackle with DeJuan Jones. That's definitely something that's up there.
Well, either way, this is the last year we're going to see this offensive line in the iteration that it's going to start with.
Yeah.
Obviously, injuries happen and things could evolve throughout the season. One guy could get re-signed or extended. But if DeJuan could solidify that left tackle position, brother,
makes the transition so much easier.
It does. But he has so much to prove, man. He hasn't been able to stay healthy yet. When he's been on the field, obviously, we've had several of these players that come in as rookies and exceed our expectations for where they were drafted, and then when they fall off in year 2, it just deflates everything, man. Like for Emerson, it was year 3, and I'm a huge believer in Martin Emerson. I think he's going to have a massive bounce back, and I think his name will be right up there among the preeminent guys again. But DeJuan could be, but there's been this unevenness to his career so far, and so much of it's health related. I just hope that he's put that to bed and show that he can last 17 games, because that's the first prerequisite, man. You need to be available, young man. So I'm hoping he can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything else before we? Because we'll still have a preview camp.
I'm kind of looking ahead real quick to the joint practices, because you got one with Carolina, and then you have 2 with Philly.
You gonna break in? Be there? Mm-hmm. You gonna break in and be there?
They used to do. The Panthers used to have their camp in Spartanburg, which is like half hour from me. They moved it back to Charlotte, so it's gonna be a little harder to break in.
You can get media credentials.
I'm gonna have to, I guess.
No, I am very interested, because that's when you're really gonna start feeling like you actually have some clarity at quarterback too. Because until those joint practices, they're just Joe's probably gonna half-ass practices, and everybody else is going to get those reps to try to win that job.
And Grossi's going to be charting every pass. People are going to be living and dying with every single practice as he charts the fucking passes.
I'm like, this session 4-4-7 sucks. Okay. Okay. So I got a question for you.
Okay.
When you've had a long day, a bad day, and originally I had this question much more specific, and so I decided to broaden it a little bit, because I think it makes the most sense. And you go to the store or to your house, maybe you already have it. Is there a drink or a snack that, like, even if you're like on a diet or whatever, you're like, I know it's bad, but like, I just need this? Is there a go-to comfort snack / drink that at least a little bit of the stress goes away when it hits your lips?
I don't know if it actually does anything for the stress, but it's like and for the record, since May 1st, I haven't broke. I have been dialed in on my diet. Haven't broke at all. But I got some weird combos, brother. One of them is salt and vinegar potato chips with regular white-ass milk. I know. Something about that salt with that milk and the salt, and I can't quit eating them, dude. And we talked about this because we have numeric conditions to where, like, you're an even guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm odd. So, like, I have to eat like 3 chips or 5 chips or 7 chips. Yeah. Can't have 2. You know what I mean? So in typical fat kid fashion, I don't eat one chip at a time. I don't do that.
Depends on the chip and the size of the chips.
Say that again?
Depends on the chip and the size of the chips.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're really big chips, so you eat small amounts, but yeah, I'm with you.
Dude, I'll cut the sides of my mouth. I'm shameless. I'm not the one. Serge just had it though. See, another one of my go-tos, and it's where I switch it up. Cool Ranch Doritos with chocolate milk. Dude. I haven't had regular milk or chocolate milk in so long. There's a gallon of it in my house. My family has been testing my patience and my ability to stay on the straight and narrow.
Discipline.
I'll go down there. There'll be ice cream down there. Like, yeah. Your boy fucks ice cream up. I can't, you know what I mean? I've been able to.
Hey, you get that Rise Mint chocolate chip ice cream. Protein
I'm looking into it.
Unfortunately,
the day we had a conversation, my wife came home with a 3-pound jug of
pure protein. Shit.
So I got to get through that first.
So you're good for now. Yeah. You know, I'm telling you though, like my favorite influencer that I got to meet, Scotty K Fitness, he's actually got a flavor of Rise protein that comes out July 23rd. It's coffee cake. And every Rise that I've had has been really good. Their Skippy peanut butter Moonshine from the Appalachia. Okay. All right. I just like a good old zero sugar Dr. Pepper of some sort, man, or a zero sugar Baja Blast.
My thing used to be extra sweet iced tea.
Yeah.
Like that was like every day, every night when I got off work on the way home, I'm getting at least one, if not two, extra sweet iced teas. I don't know. Here's the thing I find myself doing. So to hold myself accountable, like I'm public about this, like I was 306 May 1st. I'm down to 270 something right now. I'm going to go to in phases. When I hit 250, I'm going to go eat Thai food. I love Thai food. But all of it's like carbs. All of it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's straight carbs.
Like there's no way to get around it. So that's my next thing, dude. Like I'm geared up. I hit 250. I'm going to go get some pad Thai, man.
Okay. All right. I think that's a show.
It's a good show. Well, thank you guys for commenting, jumping in here.
Go see Superman.
Go see Superman. I'm not going to spoil anything, but and this didn't. I try to keep an open mind because back in the day, I'd hear a director was directing something or an actor was attached to it, and I'd have preconceived notions. That all got thrown on its head when Heath Ledger played the Joker. Because when I was told Heath Ledger was playing the Joker, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't see it. And then he did what he did. And so I always go into projects with an open mind. I love all of James Gunn's movies. James Gunn, every movie he's directed, I've thoroughly enjoyed.
No, sir, you do not need
I went into this like just super hopeful because he always does a really good job building worlds and telling offbeat stories that aren't the main story. Because they're talking about a guy who inherited the Guardians of the Galaxy. For most people, unless you're a comic book fan, you might have had base level knowledge of the Guardians, definitely not in depth. And he just opened up a whole world, and now I can't even imagine the Marvel Cinematic Universe without the Guardians.
Yeah,
you know, he was able to do that. Peacemaker on HBO Max, phenomenal show, dude. I love John Cena's Peacemaker.
He's so good,
so good. So if James Gunn does it, I'm in. So I was very hopeful, and this movie met my expectations.
Serge, you do not have to see any other Superman movie to enjoy this. Nope. No, sir.
Just raw dog it and go in, brother.
Well, thank you guys again. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up. We'll see you guys again next Sunday for our official preview.
Yeah.
I'm not reading that comment. You read that comment.
I'm doing it. I'm the one that said it, and as soon as I said it, someone should have paused me. It is what it is. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back next Sunday. The rookies will already be there, and we'll be right there. We made it. Congratulations to everybody. And I know there's still bad news falling in, but we made it through the off season. We can actually start talking about football. So that's what we're about.
See you guys
next week.